Alright, welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel, and Mega Dream EX is now out in Japan, meaning that they have access to the brand new cards, meaning that these new cards are going to be making an impact on the meta, especially with some decks. We got some new Megas like Mega Dragonite, Mega Froslass, Mega Electros, and Zoroark. I think it's a giant upgrade with this new set because of the new Zekrom, and even maybe the new supporter card and the Vanilla. So I'm interested to see if anyone's cooked up any crazy Zoroark decks. So I'm interested to see how Zoroark is now going to be played with Zekrom in the deck now. We're going to be looking at all of that here in today's video. I'll leave a link to Pokekabook, the site I'm using, down below. Also, if you don't know any of the cards, I have Pokemon Proxies pulled up here. We're going to read off the cards in the set here, just so you have an idea of what they do. So yeah, starting off with Mega Dragonite EX. This is the new big Dragon Mega in the set. And you know what? This Pokemon is quite a beast. It's got 370 HP, Stage 2 Pokemon with the attack Uniglide for a Water and 2 Lightning Energy. Does 330 damage. You discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This is a very powerful card. 330 damage is really good. Now, ironically enough, the numbers are starting to get a little bit higher now. This attack doesn't one-shot a lot of the Mega Evolution Pokemon, but it does knock out stuff like Lopunny, Mawile, which isn't bad. And obviously, you knock out all the big Stage 2s, like Grimmsnarl, Gardevoir, Charizard, Dragapult in one hit. And you have an ability, Sky Transport, where you can switch it, or you switch your active Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon in general, which is honestly pretty solid. Now, the way Mega Dragonite's being played right now is probably going to be with the Eels, and as you can see here, we do see a list here pairing it with Electric and the new Mega Electros, which I guess we can take a look at real quick here. The new Mega Electros is a fairly strong card. It's got 350 HP on a Stage 2 Pokemon. Like I said, it does evolve from the Dynamotor Electric, and then you got Split Bomb, or Split Bomb, I should say, for 2 lightning, does 60 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and then Disaster Shock does 190 damage, discard 2 energy from it, and then make your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. It's not a bad attacker. Obviously, it does find a home in lightning decks, and I mean, if you're already going to be playing Electric in this Dragonite deck, you may as well play the Electros too, because it does have the ability to evolve from Electric. So the idea of this deck is basically you just use Dragonite and power it up with Dynamotor. It's a classic approach to playing these like Dragon Pokemon that require lightning energies, but you could say that Dragonite might not be as good with Eel because it can't use Generator. I don't think you can either Magneton to the Dragonite either. I'm pretty sure Magneton is only lightning Pokemon. So it does have some downsides, but if you can set it up, you get the energy on it, you can easily build it up with the Electric. You do the discard at Lightning Energy, kind of like you're playing Gardevoir. You got to get those Lightnings in the discard pile. That's probably the most efficient way of building up the Dragonite because it does require a lot of energy to be powered up. But I definitely don't hate this approach to playing the Dragonite. Another build here plays it with the Evolutions, which is interesting. So it's Dragonite being added into Flareon Toolbox. It's actually got top 16 in a City League, so it actually had a decent result. So this doesn't look like a bad list for Dragonite. Flareon is one way you can build it up. You do the discard the energy, though, which is obviously the downside of playing Dragonite. But if you do have access to Flareon and you see the glass trumpets and the E-switches there, you do have a way to power up the Dragonite. It gives you a nice big beat stick for the deck. I mean, the deck already does a lot of damage with Carnelian, but now you have Dragonite to hit even harder. It's not a bad idea. Another Eel approach here. It's even playing the new Rayquaza, which I don't think is very good. I know it's beside the Dragonite here, so let's take a look at it real quick. It's got Assault Break. If it moves from the bench to the active spot, it does 110 damage. It's a pretty mediocre attacker. I guess it's not bad versus Cornerstone, but you can see this build, yeah, is using Dragonite with Electric. It's got Hero Escape in there. No Mega Electros EX this time around. I don't know. I mean, if you're playing Electric, is it worth maybe playing Iron Hands in the deck too? I'm not too sure on that one. Another Eel build with the Electros in there. It does have that new tool card, actually. We can point that out. That new tool card came out in Phantasmal Flames, I think. Never mind. I thought it was a Mega Dream card. It's the one that makes you take 30 less damage from Pokemon with abilities. Pretty mediocre card. But, yeah, another build playing it with the Eels. But you can see the trend here is the Eel builds are not playing any other Lightning Pokemon. This one does have some more flavor in it. It even got top 16 in the City League, so it's actually got a decent result. It's the Eel build. It's got the Mega Electros and the Dragonite. But it does have more attackers. You do have the Wellspring in there. You already play Water Energy. It does make sense to play the Wellspring, because if you already play the Water in the deck, why not play the Wellspring? It can be a nice way to take extra prizes. The Zeraora's in there that can snipe the bench. And there's a Mega Kangaskhan EX in the deck for a little bit of draw. But Kangaskhan is also a decent Pokemon to power up with the help of Electric. I actually don't hate this build. Just more options. And just being a generic beat stick 330 damage attacker, you have more variety. The Wellspring, I think, really does help. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to play. You already got the Water Energy in the deck. Another Eel build, playing the Wellspring and the Kangaskhan. This one also got top 16. Even plays a Budu in the deck. Also got the Mega Eel in there, too. And then we got another build here. Got top 16. This one had Toadskruel in the deck to help against Goldengo. That's probably going to be a bad matchup for Mega Dragonite. It's obviously Goldengo. So having the Toadskruel could help a little bit. Still has the Eels. Another Eel build here. Also playing Wellspray and Kangaskhan. So maybe this is like the best way to play the Dragonite right now is with Wellspray and Kanga. This one also has the Wellspring. No Kanga, though. Does have Budu still in the deck, though. This one's got Iron Hands EX. I don't hate the idea of playing Iron Hands in the deck. If you already had the Eels in there, why not play the Iron Hands? This one's got the Wellspring again. The one below it has the Wellspring and the Toadskruel. It's a sample list, though, but that's fine. And then we got another build here with the Eels. And it was a official card channel creation. But I like the Wellspring idea. That does make sense, right? You're already playing Water Energy in the deck. Electric does have synergy with Wellspring, so if you want to have like a surprise torrential pump play out of nowhere, you do have the ability to just charge it up in one turn with the Water Energy attachment and then putting 2 Light Energy in the discard onto the Wellspring. The downside is you're putting the energy back in your deck with Wellspring. But yeah, Dragonite doesn't look too bad. I'm sure maybe we'll see more lists of it come out. Will it do well in the Champions League this weekend? It'll be interesting to see. It is weak to Clefairy. At the end of the day, you are taking a pretty bad Guardy matchup. I know you do have power. You can one-shot Gardevoir. You have the Wellspring you can maybe play to be a little bit more cheeky. But yeah, you're weak to Clefairy, which is not great. So Dragonite does have its downsides. Mega Froslass, though, definitely looks like it's going to be a pretty good deck here. Now, Mega Froslass does have 310 HP. It's a Stage 1 Pokemon. It's got the attack Rebellion. This is the main one you're going to want to use. For a single Water Energy, it does 50 damage times the number of cards in your opponent's hand. So if you're playing against something like Alakazam or Goldengo, this attack is doing some monstrous damage. And then you got Absolute Snow, which just kind of mid 150, put your opponent's active to sleep. The benefit of Mega Froslass is it does work pretty well with the normal Freezing Shroud Froslass. Also, shout out to the new 70 HP Snorunt we're getting, which I'm sure is an upgrade. So, like I said, I think this card works well with Freezing Shroud Froslass, and that is the way we're seeing it being built here. We just see the Froslass Monkey Dory deck adding to the Mega Froslass in the deck. It does give the deck a nice big attacker to work with, even against the deck like Dragapult, which sometimes does have big hands. You gotta keep in mind all the Drag Cloaks they use, the Lily's Determination. Sometimes their hand is over like 9 to 10 cards, and you can like hit them out of nowhere with a Froslass. So I do like the addition of adding it to Froslass Monkey Dory. Makes sense. I think a lot of these builds are going to be playing within Froslass Monkey Dory, and there's going to be different Froslass Monkey Dory toolbox piles. We got one with like Moltres in here. We got a Mega Lopunny Froslass Monkey Dory deck. That's cool. I think I did see a Froslass Lopunny deck before. It's a cool concept. And then we got another build. Yeah, it's just all going to be Froslass Monkey Dory toolboxes. I like this one. This one got top 8. It's got Budu, Frillish, Maractus, Cram, Moltres. All the little one-prizers in there. And then has the big Mega Froslass and the Blood Moon. This is the one thing to note about Mega Froslass here. You can look at all these lists. Is like, you have Blood Moon too. So you have 2 big attackers. Is like Froslass can kind of do what Blood Moon does. But in the late game, if you're spamming Iono, it's not going to be as good. We got a Frostmoth build. Froslass. That's cool. This was a fun deck to play when I did a video on it. And this one, okay, this one's interesting. We have a Mega Toolbox deck using it. Now, this one got top 16, so it's not playing the Freezing Shroud Froslass. It's just playing a Kangaskhan Absol. It's basically built like the Mega Box deck, but it did add a 2/2 line of Froslass as an extra attacker. It's an interesting idea, considering this deck does try to remove cards from the opponent's hand with the help of Mega Absol's attack. But it does provide an extra attacker to work with. It's a Water type, I guess. I don't know if Water type actually really matters, but it is an interesting concept. Interesting concept, putting it in a Mega Box deck. I don't know if you would want to play Froslass in here. It might mess up the math with Absol, maybe. And then we got another build that got top 8. Another build, just all playing different like random things in their deck here to help with the Froslass. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe Froslass Monkey Dory can be a lot more competitive now. I mean, all these lists are rated like top 8, top 16. So maybe there is some world where Mega Froslass makes Froslass box without Grimmsnarl or anything like that actually a competitive deck. And maybe it has better results. Because now they have a nice big Mega attacker that can provide some value to the deck. It actually does make the deck a whole lot stronger. And maybe it's worth playing Froslass box. Maybe the deck was missing this nice big attacker that the deck now has access to. At the end of the day, you are still a 3-prize Mega Pokemon. So you are giving up a lot of prizes, which can hurt, but it is a very good attacker. And, I mean, if this thing can take a couple prizes before it dies, you should get a lot of value out of it. I mean, you can do a lot of damage in combination with Freezing Shroud and Monkey Dory in combination with Froslass's first attack. So there's a lot you can do with this. I like this build playing Hero's Cape, making this thing even bulkier. 410 HP Froslass does seem pretty good. It doesn't have an ability, so it's not like Freezing Shroud is going to affect it, right? So that does seem pretty solid. All right, next up, we'll look at the Mega Electros decks here. They might be similar to the Dragonite ones, because Dragonite ones all play the Electros, so we'll just kind of scroll through this and see if there's anything different. Okay, there's this one. This one's a Miraidon Toolbox deck playing the Mega Eel. I don't hate playing Mega Eel in Miraidon. Now, is it better than maybe playing Mega Manectric? Because Mega Manectric is a stronger card than Mega Electros, does more damage, actually one-shots a lot of stuff, which is more valuable. However, the thing with the Electros is you already have the Electric in the deck, so it's like, why not just play the Electros? Even though you're not playing Mega Manectric, and you easily could, the Electros does still work well in the deck. I mean, the Paralysis isn't bad. Not many decks do respect Paralysis. If you're not playing against a deck with, like, Prime Catcher or Petron in the deck, it shouldn't be that bad to just paralyze spam the opponent. It can be pretty effective into stuff like Guardy and Dragapult, where they don't really tend to play a lot of switching cards. Yeah, more Dragonite builds. There's another build here with, oh, this is an interesting one. It's got Pikachu Generator. So it's more of I guess it is more of a Mega Electros deck here. Just with an Iron Hands. There's a Pikachu in the deck just to use Area 0. And has Kilowattrel as a draw engine. That's a very interesting concept. I'm actually scrolling up here. Thing to note, too, this build has Power Glass in it. That's one thing I was looking out for, is you can use Power Glass with the Mega Electros. When you discard the energy for the Paralysis attack, you can recover one. You have 2 on it, and you can attach again for turn, and then you do have the attacks. You don't even have to, like, really electric to the Electros if you have the Power Glass on. So Power Glass Electros looks pretty good. Let's see if any other builds play the Power Glass. This one has Power Glass. Power Glass, I guess, is also good with Mega Dragonite. Yeah, another build here. This one doesn't have Power Glass, however, though. This one does not have Power Glass. Okay. See, there wasn't that many of them, but yeah, Mega Electros does seem decent with, like, Miraidon. It's probably the best way to play it. I know it's working in the Mega Dragonite EX deck, but we don't know if Mega Dragonite's actually going to be all that good. Again, it does have to worry about, Clefairy, which is a big problem, where Electros doesn't have to worry about Clefairy as much, and Paralysis isn't bad. Even the first attack isn't bad. You could play the first attack with Hawlucha, which I'm surprised we didn't see any list here with, like, a Hawlucha in it. You can use, like, Hawlucha with the Electros to do the first attack and knock out, like, 2 Rels. Mine is a stage 2, so you'd have to work pretty hard to get it out, but it doesn't seem like a bad idea either. All right, finally, we can look at the End Zoroark deck. This is the one that I'm most interested in because Zoroark is obviously the one deck that gets the biggest boost from Mega Dream. Now, Zoroark right now in our format, it's, I think, a little bit weaker. We did see it underperform in Stuttgart, and I think that is a sign of the time. Zoroark might not be very good against the Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie does seem to give this deck a little bit of trouble, but maybe that trouble is now prevented with the addition of the new Zekrom here. Now, I'm curious to see how these Zoroark decks are going to be built. So, obviously, we don't know what the Zekrom does. It literally just does 250 damage. So, Zoroark now has a way to do 250 damage out of nowhere. It also has Shred, which is not bad either. Zoroark having Shred is obviously pretty good. But the big thing is, it gets to do big damage. One of Zoroark's main issues right now is it doesn't really have a good way to, like, dish out massive damage. You have somewhat of a way to do it with Darmanitan sometimes with Backdraft. Reshiram is obviously your main attacker, but Reshiram can be very limited to how much damage it can do, and a lot of the time the opponent isn't going to just walk into a powerful rage, obviously, right? So now that we just have a great way to just do big damage, honestly makes the deck a little less, I feel like it takes away its complexity a little bit. It makes the deck, it kind of dumbs down Zoroark a little bit, but it does give the deck more power, which I think the deck did need. Especially with Mega Diancie being a thing now. So you can see this build does add 2 Zekrom and 1 Reshiram. Reshiram is still probably pretty good, but we'll see what else people are playing in their Zoroark decks here. Still playing Darmanitan in them, which is interesting. I don't know how good the Darmanitan is. Now that you have, well, I guess it makes sense, because you have a really strong Beatstick one-hit KO attack. You can pair with Binding Mochi to make the Zekrom do 290, no, the Zoroark to do 290 damage, I should say. So, like, Binding Mochi lets you do 290 damage, which is even knocking out Pidgeot. Zoroark being able to one-shot a Pidgeot now is pretty scary. You can even play, like, Gravity Mountain to do, like, 320 damage with a Binding Mochi and knock out Dragapult in one hit, which is actually kind of insane. So maybe Zoroark just becomes a 1-hit KO deck now with Binding Mochi, Petron, and like Grab Mountain. That's a really cool idea. But I do like the Darmanitan. I mean, I guess like you still have ways to like cripple your opponent. You can one-shot stuff with the Zekrom, and then you can use Darmanitan to knock out the little Pokemon. So no matter what, you're like trying to take 2 prizes. So I don't know, maybe Darmanitan does seem optimal in the deck. I'm curious to see too if we're gonna start seeing Okidogi and stuff getting removed. And we saw some Zoroark decks recently adding in cards like the Okidogi EX, also playing stuff like Mega Absol. I'm curious to see if Zoroark is still going to play those cards now that it has Zekrom. Like, Zekrom completely changes the dynamic of how Zoroark is going to be played, which I think is kind of interesting. Before, Zoroark was like a really slow-paced deck with a lot of methodical lines. Now the deck like might just be a beat stick deck. Like, that's just kind of the reality we live in. Yeah, they're all playing Darmanitan, which I think is interesting. This one doesn't even play Reshiram. It's just like, nah, man, Zekrom is just too good. I think Reshiram is still worth playing because you can punish your opponent for not one-shotting Zoroark, which I don't think is a bad thing. But it's interesting to see just like Reshiram getting excluded in some of these lists altogether. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, this might just be the face of Zoroark now. Just like 2/2 Darm, 1 Reshi, 1 Zekrom, or 2 Zekrom, I should say, Petron Fez, and that's it. That's all you need. Like, maybe no more Blood Moon or Saluna. You don't really need it when you have the ability to take big KOs through Zekrom. It completely just changes the dynamic of this deck, which I think is very interesting. There's a lot of Zoroark lists. I don't think we're going to be able to go through every single one of them. We'll see what else we got. This one is playing the Cornerstone approach, which isn't bad. I don't even know if you need it, because like, it feels like Dengo's not even a bad matchup now, because you can just you can one-shot Dengo with the Zoroark. Maybe if you play the Darmanitan against Goldengo, if they try to one-prize board you, you can KO them with Darmanitan, take 2 prizes. If they put a Goldengo down, you can Binding Mochi and start trading with Zoroark and Zekrom against the Goldengo. So maybe that's kind of the strat now against Dengo. So honestly, maybe Darmanitan is optimal. I heard some rumors and mumblings on Twitter, like, why are people still playing Darmanitan and Zoroark now? Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I like it. Darmanitan does make sense with Zekrom. Now that Zoroark is a potential 1-hit KO machine-style deck, playing the Darmanitan does make sense. Because it gives you early game pressure. All right, this one does play Okidogi in it. I think Okidogi's still not bad. I mean, you do still have to worry about Cornerstone. I know you have Zekrom. Zekrom does have Shred, which isn't too bad. I think Zekrom only has 130 HP, right? So, I mean, if you bench this and you just shred your opponent for 70, the Cornerstone player can just boss the Zekrom and knock it out with Demolish. Then you have to recover it. So, I still don't hate playing some extra attacker to deal with Cornerstone. I mean, Shred is not bad against Cornerstone Ogerpon, but doesn't always get the job done. So, maybe still playing the Okidogi or the Mega Absol still makes sense in the deck, in my opinion. Another build here got top 16 with the Power Glass, the Darmanitans. Another build here. This one, yeah, Gravity Mountain. See, I like the idea of Gravity Mountain in Zoroark, because, like, if you're playing the Binding Mochi and the Zekrom, like, you're doing 290 damage. With that Grav Mountain, that's 320 damage, right? Yeah, 290 in the 30s, 320. That's knocking out Dragapults and Gardevoir. Well, you already one-shot Gardevoir. I don't know what the heck I'm saying, but you one-shot Dragapult. You're just barely not killing Charizard. But because you have Monkey Dory damage, maybe it doesn't matter. You know? Kind of crazy stuff. We'll see if there's any of the new Vanillux stuff being used. I don't know if anyone actually would have built a Vanillux Zoroark deck. I like this build here. I got top 4. I like the Stadium Split. Castle, Arzon, Grav Mountain still seems pretty good. I don't even know if you need to still play Watchtower in Zoroark, because you have the ability to KO, like against Raging Bolt, which is usually a bad matchup for Zoroark. If you just play Darmanitan and Zekrom, like, how do you lose to Raging Bolt? Because, like, if they try to, like, one-prize board you with Fan Rotom, you could just Darmanitan, kill the Rotom, kill a Hoot-Hoot, take 2 prizes. They put a Raging Bolt down, you just blow it up with Zekrom's attack. You know what I mean? Like, Zoroark actually might, like, be so much more legit now with the addition of Zekrom. Like, it's crazy how good it is. But I don't know if any of these new lists are going to be trying out the new Zoroark supporter card. That does seem like a bit of a pipe dream. That's definitely, like, a bad deck Friday deck, obviously. But who knows? Maybe somebody tried to cook. But we'll see. Yeah, it looks like Zoroark's also fairly popular now in Japan with the Zekrom. People might just be trying it out to see how good it is. But yeah, maybe Zoroark is, like, very much legit now. Like, this actually looks like it's just such a strong archetype. I mean, if you want to maybe have a better matchup into stuff like Dengo, maybe we just keep the Toadcruel in the deck or something. All right, here we go. This one's got the Vanillux. It doesn't play the new supporter, but it does play... Is that the Vanillish, actually? Wait, that's the Vanillish. That's not even the Vanillux. Wait, what does Vanillish do? Hold up. I know the Vanillux doubles the damage. Now I'm curious. What the heck? Vanilla, Sheer Cold. The defending Pokemon can't attack during your... Okay, wow. I didn't even know this thing had an attack like that. I knew the Vanillix was good. It's got Layered Snow. Place damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon until their damage is doubled, which is fairly powerful. Even Blizzard isn't bad. This card could be good with, like, Froslass. We didn't see any builds of it, though. Don't worry. I love Vanillix. Vanillix is one of my favorite Pokemon, by the way. I have a plushie of it. Where is it? I don't know. Oh, it's right here. Yeah, I got a Vanillix plushie. This Pokemon is awesome. Trust me, I'm going to be building decks around it. But this build doesn't even play the Vanillix because the Vanillish is already pretty good. Yeah, preventing your opponent's Pokemon from attacking in the active is actually pretty good. That can be really effective against decks that have, like, a bigger retreat. Like, against Charizard, this could be good if they don't put a Mist Energy on it. This seems like a decent attack to, like, stop them from attacking you, which is kind of cool. So I don't hate the idea of it. This one even got top 8, so maybe the Ice Cream is better than the double scoop Ice Cream with the Vanillix. That's an interesting idea. Still a Zekrom, Reshiram, Darmanitan. This one has a lot more options of how it wants to approach a match, which I kind of like. Another build here that doesn't even play the Reshiram. I like this approach, though. Venture Bomb Monkey Dory isn't bad for more damage output for your Zekrom attack to copy, which is kind of cool. Yeah, more Zekrom stuff. Got Evoltal here. Yeah, they're all playing Darm. Yeah, Darm still looks good. We saw one build with the Vanillix. Another Toedscroll build. I like this idea of playing Toedscroll. Maybe this is better against Dengo. But like I said, if you play Darmanitan, you could still maybe trade pretty well against the Dengo deck. If you have a way to take 2 prizes, well, they have a 1-prize board state. And then you can use Zekrom plus damage modifier to kill Dengo. It makes a lot of sense. Just going through here to see if there's anything else interesting. But yeah, it looks like Zoroark is going to be pretty legit with Zekrom. A lot of these builds are just doing well. I mean, this deck seems popular right now. Is that the end of the Zekrom decks? No, there's still more. I thought that was the end. Because this one didn't have Zekrom in it. I'm trolling. This one's got Mega Lopunny and Kangaskhan. This is an interesting approach to the Zoroark deck. The Lopunny is cool, I guess. I don't know if you need it, though. But, hey, you do. I think you still might need that Wall Breaker, like I said, for the... Like, Crustle isn't too bad. You can beat Crustle because with Shred, but Cornerstone still might be an issue. Even with Shred, right? So, might be worth trying out here. Yeah, just a lot of Zoroark decks. Zoroark looks pretty popular right now. Everyone's just trying it out because of the new Zekrom. But that might have actually been the end of the Zekrom. Yeah, I don't see any more Zekrom. I think it just ends... It ends, like, right here, right? This is... Yeah, because I think the thing came out on this past Friday, so... I think that was all the Zoroark decks playing Zekrom in them, from the looks of it. I like how they gave us, like, an analogy of the A-Specs, of how popular the A-Specs were in the Zoroark deck. Secret Box still being very popular. Heroescape and Prime Catcher also being popular. I mean, if you're playing Zekrom, I think it's probably fine to just play the Secret Box still. Secret Box is still such a good card in Zoroark, in my opinion. It really makes you have some awesome plays. Unfair Stamp might not be bad, though, because if you kill something, like, against Charizard, you go, like, Counter Catcher, Unfair Stamp, kill Pidgeot. Seems kind of sick. But yeah, Zoroark looks very, very good now. Like, I think in this current format, it might be a little underwhelming because of the Diancie in the format. Zoroark will probably still be a decent deck, in all honesty, though, in this format, even with Diancie. But with Zekrom, this deck becomes even scarier. Like, the fact that this deck can, like, KO you out of nowhere now in one hit with, like, Binding Mochi and stuff is kind of crazy. So, Zoroark got a whole lot better. And I'm excited to see how Zoroark performs in this upcoming weekend of City Leagues. I'm going to be interested to see if we see Zoroark perform well in the Champions League, I should say, sorry. The Champions League, there's a new Champions League this weekend, I think. So I'm hoping to see Zoroark have a good showing. Maybe it'll win the Champions League. Zoroark looks so legit now, it could win the entire thing. It's very possible. But there you go, folks. Those are some of the new cards. I know there's other stuff in the set, too, that I wish I was able to find. I was looking up, like, to see if we could find any lists for some of the other new cards. Like, I wanted to see the new, like, Honchkrow, but I couldn't find any Honchkrow lists on Pokekabook. The new Scrafty looks really cool, too. But I didn't even find any Scrafty lists either. So hopefully we'll look at more in the future here. I guess one thing to note, too, Light Ball is pretty good in Joltik Box. But I looked up Joltik Box with Light Ball, and there was one Joltik Box list that played Light Ball. So it was like, I didn't want to look at just one deck list and be like, oh, there you go, one deck list. Like, I want to see more and kind of see how people are cooking these decks. But, yeah, pretty interesting stuff for sure. Definitely looks like Zoroark is going to be a huge new archetype with Zekrom. Might make the deck, like, potentially, like, not BDIF status, but it could be, like, you still have a good guarding matchup. That's pretty good. And the power level the deck has is even scarier now because it can one-shot you without having to worry about Reshiram being the only way to do those big one-shot attacks. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a link to Pokekabook and Pokemon Proxies down below if you want to go check out the 2 sites I used in today's video for yourself. And I'll catch you out later, and hopefully we get some more Mega Dream decks. Maybe, I think Mega Charizard Y might be coming out soon. So hopefully we get to see some decks with that guy too. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.